Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the space. Once again, it is your boy Earl Miller with Breaking Chains Ministries, Mindful Monday. We are excited about this discussion today. I have some champions here in their own rights, and we're going to unpack a controversial topic in the form of a question. And that question is it possible to be in love with two people at the same time while in the relationship? I'm going to repeat that question once again. The topic of today's discussion is in the form of a question, and that question is it possible to be in love with two people at the same time while in a relationship? And to help us unpack this evening's discussion, I have Liz Clark with us. Come on, Liz Clark, why don't you give the folks a shout
Hey,
out?
what's going on, everybody? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. We have Janisha McCall. Come on, give the folks a shout out.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
All right, and then we have my boy Paul Hill, the second man. Give the folks a shout out.
Hey, you guys, happy Monday. Good seeing you.
Happy Monday it is. And so I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit about Evangelist Elizabeth Clark. She's a devoted minister who has faithfully served in various leadership roles within the Pentecostal Assemblies of the World, including youth president and co-director of the International Pentecostal Young People's Union Ministers Alliance, currently serving at Piercing Faith Church under Suffragan Bishop A.C. Jones Jr. She continues to inspire others through her ministry, podcast, and authorship. My goodness, you're an author too. You better go, girl.
Yeah, yeah.
Amen to God. And then she's a proud mother and marketing graduate. Elizabeth's life reflects her unwavering passion for Christ and her dedication to empowering others. And then we have Miss Jonisha McCall. She is also part of the Tea Time with Liz and Friends. And she has been collaborating with Liz Clark for over the past couple of years. And I do apologize, but oh, there it is. It says Jonisha is a woman saved and filled with the Holy Spirit since the age
Come
of
on.
15, whose life is a living testimony of God's grace and redemption. Through every trial, God has strengthened her to rise above obstacles, earn her Bachelor of Science in Healthcare Management, and serve as a director supporting individuals with disabilities. She's also a licensed notary, signing agent, and a devoted mother of three gifted daughters, having ministered through dance, worship, and choir leadership. Jonisha now walks boldly in her calling to uplift and equip women to overcome life's challenges through faith. Her mission is to remind women that with God, nothing is wasted and every season has purpose. Welcome to the platform, Miss Jonisha McCall. We got Brother Paul, who is an expert in IT. He is a father of four and a husband of one wife, man. Come on and share with us a little bit about your service in the ministry. Come off the mic real quick, Paul.
Sure. Yes, I attend Christ Simple Apostolic Church in Roseville. I serve there as one of the teachers of the youth. Also, I do other just kind of tasks around that. But like you said, I've been in the IT field for quite a while. I also help, or I should say, lead small groups that deal with Christianity and working in the marketplace. So combining those that want to be successful out in the marketplace with businesses and things like that, and also connecting that with kingdom and what God wants for their life. So it's me.
All right, there you have it. We have our panelists that's going to help us unpack this beautiful topic. But before we go dive into this topic, I want Liz Clark to put a plug in. Tell us a little bit about Tea Time with Liz and Friends, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So Tea Time with Liz and Friends started as just a testimony of mine, and we've been going live ever since and have expanded to Tea Time with Liz and Friends. But it is tea that heals the soul, restores the soul. We talk about topics that are hard to overcome in life, things that people don't know if they can even make it out of life. And so we try to give them hope. We help them to find restoration And that's all from our Creator, God Himself. And so we share our testimonies. We have others come on and share their testimonies as well. And we're just here to inspire the people. So we're glad to be on tonight.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Liz Clark. Jaleesa, did you want to put a plug in real quick?
Nope, she said it all.
Oh, we're live Monday, every first
Oh,
and third Monday, 7:30. There we go.
there you go.
All right.
There's the
All
plug.
right. I love it. I love it. And so, if you have not already done so, those of you who are online supporting and have been supporting Break and Change Ministries on Mindful Monday and then also War Room Wednesday AM prayer, we want to thank you for your ongoing love, your support, your text messages, your phone calls, your prayers. This would not be possible without all of that great love and support. So we want to ask that you continue to keep that coming forth. We need that and inspires us and encourages us to keep on going on with what the Lord has tasked us with. And so if you haven't already done so, please like, share, subscribe to the YouTube page, and follow. We're getting ready to dive into this evening's topic. You can go ahead and put your comments into the chat box. We will be taking some of your questions, or if you have feedback, we will be, sharing some of your feedback along this podcast this evening. And so without any further ado, I want to ask, let me start with you, Liz Clark. I want to pick on you just a little bit in the
All
brotherly
right,
way, since we're all got siblings in the gospel.
let's
Um,
go.
let's go. I love it. Is it possible? Is it possible to be in love with two people at the same time while in a relationship?
Yes and no. And I say yes and no is because um, depending on your state of your heart, your mind, your soul, if you are uh, not healed from some traumas, from past relationships, you will wander and you will try to fill these voids with different people. One person may, feed your favorite foods, and the other person can feed your intellectualness, and so you find these different attractions and not dealing with the source who is you. And so I say, yes, you can fall in love with multiple people. But is it right? I guess we'll discuss that tonight.
I love that. I love that. Paul, man, what are you hearing, man? How does that resonate in your spirit? Is it possible?
Is it possible? It depends. It depends on your net worth. I mean, because if you can afford two families and roll back and forth and do the planes, you
Come
know,
on, family.
then
Yes.
you can get away with it. No, I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm just kidding. They were like, man, this man said it depends. No, um, you know what? When you first ask the question, my gut says yes. It's possible to 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 love two people or feel this to feel something special or feel a bond with more than
Mhm.
one person. I At first I was like, yeah, that's possible. But then I thought about it and I don't I don't truly think you can. I
Mhm.
think you can only truly love one person. Today's November 3rd.
Mhm.
If you are in love with two people and both their birthdays are on November 3rd today, who who gets the 7 o'clock time slot? Who gets prime time? You know, who gets the spot? You have to pick
Listen,
one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say no. I don't think you can.
Okay. You said something that we're going to have to take a dive into a little bit into the conversation. You talked about truly being in love. And so
Mhm.
we kind of have to start unpacking the definition of love
right,
because
right.
there are several different types of love. And so I just want to leave that on the platform because eventually we will climax to true love. But Miss McCall, what are you thinking?
I'm going to say yes, you can. And I want to add to what Liz and Paul said, it has to do, I feel like it has to do with knowing who you are at your
Mm.
core as well. Because one day you might be feeling a certain type of way, or feeling like you have a need that needs to be met, and then the next day you might not have that feeling. So you need to know who you are as a person, so your emotions don't fluctuate, and then you're bringing other people in on your emotional roller coaster. But to piggyback off what Paul said, today's November 3rd. Who gets prime time? Um, Side chicks deal with that on holidays. Who does the person? I'm not gonna say side chicks because there's side guys too. I'm not gonna say just chicks.
Come
Who,
That's
on,
true.
call them
That's
out.
true.
you
Call
know,
them
That's
out.
true. They out there.
who gets to spend time with you on the holiday? You know, so
Mhm,
I mean, if you have a family, of course, that goes towards the family. But if you don't,
mhm.
then I guess it goes on how you feeling for the day or what have you. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
I appreciate that. Let me take a look at this. Sister Onika Miller, my other
Woo-woo.
half is
Hey
saying,
girl.
"What's up, y'all?" She's excited about this conversation. She also posted, "I think you can, but you don't love them both in the same way," and I'm in line with that. I guess more in line with that school of thought, and here's why. It's really kind of what Liz touched on in her response. If an individual has experienced a long-term relationship, let's just say long-term is anywhere between 6 to 8 years in a relationship, and that's kind of short when you start talking about people being married for 10, 15, 20, 30 plus years, right? That could be still considered the honeymoon stage. But let's just say, for the sake of time, that long term can be classified as 6 to 8 years. And so that relationship or marriage comes to a close physically. But one of those parties, or maybe both of those parties, have transitioned to enter into another relationship, but they haven't experienced true closure from their previous relationship. And so now these strong feelings, this passion, the love that they had for their previous person that they was with is still within the depths of their heart. And so because not enough time has lapsed to really deal with those emotions, to really deal with those thoughts, we tend,
Mhm.
in some cases, some people tend to jump right into another relationship because they have this desire to, or a need rather. They feel like they have this need to be with someone, to have companionship in the form of intimacy, because they haven't really learned how to come to have relationship with themselves. And so what happens is that they bring all of their um, emotions from their previous relationship into the new relationship, and so now they're robbing the individual of their complete person because they have 60% in their past
Mm.
and they're only providing 40% in their current situation. And so I think it is possible, because when we start unpacking the different types of love, maybe that love is a filial love, right? There's different types of Greek words, right? Maybe it's that they established a strong friendship, and that friendship led to eros, which was intimacy, sexual intimacy. And then that relationship led down the aisle to marriage. And then if it comes to a closure, but they really haven't experienced the closure within, now they're bringing all of those emotions into the current relationship while trying to build or develop their love with that new person. So that's why I'm kind of leaning more so towards it is possible, depending on what type of love is being brought from the past into their current situation. Any thoughts
Yeah.
on that?
I agree, and that goes back to what I was saying, knowing who you are at the core, because here you are carrying that baggage
Mhm.
over into your, who you were in the past, over into your new relationship, and not dealing with who you are, or knowing what you want. You're not dealing with that baggage. You're just kind of bringing it with you and tagging along somebody else. And it could be that could have been those emotions, like you said, could have been come from like sex or what have you. And if you're not knowing yourself, then you're thinking, yeah, I'm having sex with somebody and now I'm in love, and that's not the agape love,
Mhm.
that a lot of people
Mhm.
talk about.
Mhm.
So just knowing what you're looking for. Are you looking for somebody who you're in love with, for who brings that feeling towards you, I mean out of you, sexually? Then
Mhm.
hey, if that's the case, a lot of people out here in love. We're loving.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's real. But I
Yeah. Go
think
ahead,
that
Liz.
no, I think that goes back to, I think you were going to ask this earlier. What is love, though?
Mhm.
Everybody's definition of love is
Mhm.
different. You know, we say love is a feeling. The word says love is an action.
Mhm.
And a demonstration in life. And so, some of us though don't know what true love is. You weren't raised around real love, healthy love.
Mhm.
We were raised around toxicness. Because if I could use for an example, it would be the children of Israel.
Mhm.
We always talk about, oh, it took them 40 days and their disobedience, but they also were traumatized. If
Mhm.
you were enslaved for, thousands of years, and that's the
Mhm.
only mentality that then of course you're going to act the same way regardless of what environment you're in, right?
That's good.
And
Mhm.
so that's why they all had to die off in order to get to this promised land. And so I say that to, somebody today, like, there are some things within us that have to die off in
Mhm.
order for us to embrace what true love is, and that is hard. So instead of doing that, we fill our our dysfunction with more
Mhm.
dysfunction. So yeah,
Mhm.
I asked
Mhm.
that question. What is true love? What y'all's thoughts?
Paul, what's true love?
Um, Liz, I think you said it already. One of the aspects of true love is it's an action, but I also believe that love is a choice, and
Mm.
thirdly, a sacrifice. And here's why I say that: a choice, sacrifice, um, and action, because true love is something you choose to do. Like you make a choice to see the best in somebody. You make
Right.
a choice to want to sacrifice yourself in various ways. It's just something simple as the giving of financial, means. I want to support you, I want to take you out, I want to do things like this. That shows love. That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why, Earl, you said previously, why someone can be married or whatever, and that relationship comes to a close, then they move on, but they're still stuck in the previous one.
Mhm.
That's because in that previous relationship, there were some sacrifices made.
That's right.
There were some, if I
That's
could use
right.
this term, blood on the altar. there
That's
was
right.
Well, come on.
That's
there
right.
was some, so it's hard to let go
That's right.
because of what you've given.
Hmm.
Oh,
And
that's good.
that's what I believe true love, that's where true love really stems from.
But
Yeah.
okay, so
Yeah. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
have a sorry, I don't mean to interrupt again.
No,
I'm
go ahead. Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
But I
Go
have
ahead.
a
Go ahead.
question.
Go ahead.
Is that from a male's perspective, or do
Think about
we,
Hmm.
mine.
I
or is
think
that
I
a
know
woman?
both.
You think it's both?
Both.
Mm,
Yes. Listen to some of the R&B songs. What's that?
okay,
Waiting
come
to Exhale.
on.
I was with you all these years and then you left me. I don't remember the song. Y'all know what I'm
Yes.
talking about.
We love
Okay, I
when
mean
what's
that's a
not
Yeah.
song.
real
Yes,
song.
that one. There you go. That one.
Oh Lord, not the songs, Lord.
And that's because, yeah, I was there by your side. I put up with this, I put up with that, I gave all of this, and then you just up and, yeah, it goes both
Speaking
Hmm.
ways.
speaking from a woman's point of view, there is something that comes before that, though, in order for us to actually, you know, stick to that. Like, we're not just gonna stick to anybody. You have to. We have a certain feeling with. I'm not okay. Okay, I can't speak for every woman. For me, I have a specific emotion, a specific feeling that I have that have grew towards you in order for me to be like, oh, I'm gonna stick by his side. You know, he's cheating on me, but I'm gonna stick by his side. You know, it's an emotion that makes you want to stand and fight for the relationship, not just choice and sacrifice. Yeah, that is there, but it's not just, it doesn't come with everybody, every relationship. We can, you know, out of obligation, because we're nurturers.
I want to I want to come back at you with that.
He said,
Okay.
"Come on."
Now, if let me think of a Ant-Man, Minnesota Timberwolves knocks on your door. I want to date you. I want you. Or let's just say anybody, any female, right? I guarantee you, not all, most females in that situation, and he's basketball player, money, millions, they will find a way to make an excuse that this is gonna work out. I guarantee they will. No, I see something in his eyes. This and he can cheat. I'm not saying, if you out there listening, I'm not saying you doing that. I'm just using that example, bro.
Make
I'll
it
just use that as
plain,
an
clean it up,
example.
clean it up.
Anthony Edwards is just an example.
Just in case you're watching.
Right. He could be messing up and all kinds of stuff, but we see it all the time. And that's because that female has made a choice. I want to love him because of his status, or where I can see myself, his ability to take care of me or to take care of a family. Which we don't talk about a lot, but that's real.
I think I'm gonna get you, because I don't want to get us to get too caught up and hung up right here. I think there is yes, there is a difference between love versus lust. I mean, no, my wife put in here lust. When there is some talk around toxic, unhealthy attachments, right? That's learned, in our environments, in our households, in the media, etc. So we do have to discern the difference between what's love and what's not love. Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to negate the fact that you can have a love that starts, in the form of a friendship. All right. And so if we're doing if the true love is coming, because we talked about, sexual intimacy, eros, right? Eros. And so if we don't put the cart before the horse, really a friendship is supposed to be developed first. And then out of that love, right, manifest the eros love. And so I don't want to negate the fact that the steps have not gone forth, or have not been put into practice, because some people actually do meet, what I'm saying, and become friends. And in some cases, either have sexual intimacy before marriage, or, it develops into a marriage. And I'm just going to keep it all the way funky on this platform. I don't really know nobody who waited until they got married to have sex, but there are some individuals who have. That's not my testimony. That's not my story. I didn't wait. Hey, praise the Lord. I'm not glorifying it. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that's not my story. And so I do truly believe that, eros can take place or be birthed out of filial, right? The love, the brotherly love. And so these are where the strong feelings actually, begin to take place, and it's cultivated. You're going to the parks, you're getting to know one another's families, you're showing up on the holidays, you're traveling together, and you're like, man, and that's why people, when they do get married, they say, this is my best friend, because in some cases people have established a sound friendship in the beginning. You hear what I'm saying? And out of that friendship came arrows. It came physical, interaction with one another. And so that's why I'm really standing on, if individuals have that foundation and that relationship comes to a close and they try to get into another relationship too fast without really dealing with the emotions, the friendship that they had, they're going to be shook. You got to deal with the emotions that was cultivated, that was developed in your previous relationship. And that's how you can have true love. It may not be the sexual intimacy love no more from your past, but it's that brotherly or that sisterly love. You can believe that. And so now, and so so now it becomes challenging for individuals who are trying to move on while in a relationship, or trying to move on while in the marriage, because their mind, a percentage of their mind and their heart is still stuck in 2012,
Mm,
2010,
mm,
2008,
Yeah.
high school, whatever you want to call it. And so now I want to ask the question, if that's the scenario on the platform, if that's the scenario, how does one navigate through those challenges, those strong feelings of, man, I miss her, if for the brothers, oh man, I miss him, man, because there's something that I'm lacking in my current relationship, that I remember, that I'm longing for this, because I'm missing it in my current situation, but I remember way back when. How does one navigate those thoughts and those emotions? Onika
Can
says
I?
that's why you got to take time to heal. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Too many people are
Jump.
they have insecurities,
Yeah.
and they don't know how to be in relationship with self. I was thinking about this conversation. We got to learn how to date ourselves before we start learning how to date other
Say
people.
it for the
If
people
you
in the
don't
back.
if you don't know how to date yourself, how you gonna date
Come
somebody else?
on.
And so we
Listen.
bring all of our brokenness, all of our
All of
hurt,
it.
all of our insecurities, all of our issues, like the woman with the issue of blood for 12 years, and
All of
trying to
it.
be in a relationship, a sound relationship. It don't work like that, honey. What you hearing? Somebody talk back to me.
Yeah.
it's to me, I'm hearing that you have to date yourself, and as you're dating yourself, you're learning who you really are, and you have to have peace with the fact that you are not who you were back in 2008, 2013. You have grew, you have transitioned into another person, another mind frame. And yes, you might still be in love with that same person, I mean, yeah, the same person, but did that person grow with you, or did you guys grow apart? And that's what a lot of
Mm.
longer relationships, do. They, one person is growing a different way than the other person. They're not growing as a couple anymore, but you still have those feelings for that person. Like, man, I loved how he did that, this or that and the other, but that's not where I'm at. That's not important to me anymore. It's not important to me that he gave me good foot massages. What's important to me is that he keeps a job to help me pay these bills. You know what I mean? You change. What's important to you back then is not important to you now. And what you love about it may not be healthy, or work for you, or can be toxic for that matter at a certain age or a certain level.
I like that. Liz, were you gonna say something, or Paul? I feel like one of you guys were.
Oh, I was gonna, just to clarify your question,
Yeah.
when you talked about how do you deal with those, heal or
Yeah.
deal with those emotions. Are you saying that there was, in your question, are you saying has intimacy taken place, or can it be either way?
Mhm.
So let me not be too deep over here.
Okay.
I believe this: intimacy starts within. The physical
Okay.
intimacy is the manifestation of what already took place
I
inside.
see.
Let me just
Okay.
drive this home.
Okay.
I was locked up from age 20 to 26, but I was incarcerated before I even went to prison.
Hmm.
Mm,
Drugs, alcohol, fornication, gang banging, you name it. People, before they hit the sheets, I- the seed through the word already
Yeah.
came out the mouth, and that's going into the heart. And that's
Hmm.
what y'all remember, man. I kind of thought about this. Y'all remember when we was back in, junior high, you'd be on the phone so late and you say, "Are you asleep?" I'm still up.
Hmm.
You guys probably didn't do that. I used to do that. My grandma picked up the phone a couple of good times and said, "Boy, hang up that phone."
No,
And next
yeah,
thing you know,
yeah,
you guys
yeah.
only thing you guys are doing on the
Hmm.
phone is just breathing. You just breathing.
Right,
That's
right.
that's that's
I
the
remember that.
the love, the strong desire.
Mm.
And so
Yeah,
intimacy, to your question, Paul, you define it. All I'm saying is the way I define intimacy is that something that is in my heart and I'm expressing it outwardly. That's what
Mm.
love
yeah,
is to me.
yeah. Mm. Okay. Um, that is that's tough. It's tough. Like you said, you do have to deal with those emotions and heal from it. But I'm sitting here trying to think, how do you do that? I can't think of anything else but time. I mean,
Yeah.
I it, it's just time. You just have to just let time go by to
Yeah.
eventually just slowly, forget, because when you have that connection, it's like you become your thoughts, everything, your like you said, just being on the phone, the conversation, the different things, you just become so intertwined,
Yeah.
and it's hard to just cut that and untangle it and just, move on right away. So that is tough. I'm reminded of a message by Dr. Miles Monroe. He said this one time. He admitted, he said he was a virgin when he got married. He
Mhm.
said that one of the reasons that God um, told them no adultery, no foreigner, don't have sex before you get married. He said because one of the benefits is it protects your memories.
Mm.
Mm.
That's
And I
good.
was like, wow.
That's good.
I
Yeah.
was like, whoa, he's right. He's right.
Mhm.
Because when you're not, you don't save yourself, then you have to deal with the mental trauma of
Yeah.
everything that's is your past. So yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
So we've talked about is it the Greek word was it eros? I don't know the Greek word for
Arrows.
it. Eros. Okay.
Yep.
Do you think that that's the same thing as soul ties?
Well, so Liz, you want to tackle that?
No,
Because
you
I
want to
feel like
throw
I've
it
been
out.
talking a lot. I was going to answer it, but I want to share. I want to share
No,
space with
no,
you.
no, this is your platform. Go ahead. I'm gonna co-sign it. I'm gonna co-sign it. All right.
I'm gonna, s- I'm gonna say
This is
yes. I'll say yes.
yes, and so this is
Mhm.
this is why I say yes to that. Is because a lot of the times we don't know what sexual intimacy was designed for. We
Mm.
operate within it out of lack of knowledge. The Bible says, and I got to go spiritual now here. The Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And so we are finding ourselves operating and functioning in this adult behavior without knowledge and without knowing that we are tying ourselves with this individual.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you are being when people are being sexually, active with one another, they're really taking on everything that is tied to them. They're transferring their trauma, unaddressed trauma from their childhood, adverse childhood experiences. They're
Yeah.
taking on their heart, their pain, and so now you got your own stuff you haven't dealt with,
Yeah.
and now this person has transferred their stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't even have the mental capacity to carry our own things.
On.
And
Right.
so now we are tied and bond spiritually to this folks where we need the yoke destroyed and broke off of us and don't even know it. And
Mm-hmm.
don't even know it. So, and it could work. And I think it's interchangeable. Um, And what I mean by that is that if it is done the way that God intended for it to be done, then that blessing is upon it,
Mm.
right? The good stuff, the blessings that come when we do it how God originally intended for man and woman to come together. The blessings is upon it
Mhm.
because we're not doing it in sin, in our Adamic nature. That's my answer for you. Uh, Paul, Liz.
I agree with everything you said, and also to just even what you recently just said. I think it's taking what God has given us and sacredizing, and like, taking it serious, taking it not for how the world sees it. And that's the thing, is that we have taken on the world's mentality. We have taken on that mindset to do what the world does, and then we want to fit God in, when it should be the opposite way. We should be
Mhm.
letting go of this world. It says, be transformed by the renewance of your mind. We are not conformed to this world, right? And so I think we have to do a better job in talking about these things. We actually had a guest on ours, because we did talk about breaking the silence on celibacy. Like, a
Mm.
lot of people don't wait. Why? What is the purpose? Because that should be like, that's your most vulnerable place. But when you have the mentality of lust and sexual desires, um, that's not of God, and
Mhm.
that's pretty biblical. And also, I
Mhm.
think it not only covers your marriage, but it prevents, I think, too, a barrier of cheating. Because
Mhm.
how do you know? I mean, yes, there could be curiosity, but you can't remember nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
you can't
Mhm.
be like, well, let me go back, and see if that's still there, type of thing, right?
Mhm.
That you've kept that sacredness with that one person. And so I mean, we can go down this road quite a bit, but to go back to the main question that we were talking about, I agree with Paul in the sense of time. And I think life, there are stages in life that we have to accept our healing.
Mm.
We're not, in every stage of life, we're not ready. We're not ready to let some things go. We're not ready to see certain things. But I also think that relationships bring that out, that the opposite sex somehow, that we attract with, it helps us to see ourselves. Because when you're in a relationship, a lot of times you're looking at it in the sense of, how can this benefit me? How how
Mhm.
how is this working for me? And so when it's not working for you, sometimes you think it's the other person, but it could be you. It is your
Yes.
issue. And
Right.
those are the things that we got to sit down with ourselves
Mhm.
and be honest with ourselves and say, hey, I need to take a break. I need to take a moment and figure out who I am, because apparently I don't know who I am. And I can testify to that in the sense of, when I was going through my separation and divorce, that I talked to several different people that had gone down that journey, and everybody went straight to another relationship. 6 months, married somebody else again, or dating somebody else again. And I said, nah, I don't want to do that.
Mm.
Mhm.
Because they were still broken, and they were still talking about the issues that they never dealt with. They just rushed into something because that's what they were used to. And so I took a long time, still taking the time
Mm.
to go through this process, because you got to be a whole person. You got to be able
Mhm.
to handle somebody else's issues, baggage, and not take offense to that.
Yeah.
And if you have your own, like you have said, like we've all said, it's gonna be a trying time, and it's gonna become toxic. So
Mm.
you gotta grace yourself through time. And I know society rushes us, because you're getting to a certain age, and all this stuff
Mhm.
is against you, but not with God. I don't think that.
Yeah.
I think God has everything in its perfect time and perfect season. So
Mm. Thank you for
Yeah.
that, Liz. That was very powerful. Thanks for sharing your testimony
That was good.
briefly as well. I'm sure you helped some souls that are on here. Ms. McCall, I want to ask you a quick question here.
Mhm.
First of all, it's twofold. Do you believe in soul ties? Number one. The second question I want to ask you, because Liz had talked about being, honest. How important is being honest with yourself and honest with the person you're in relationship with? Um, if you find yourself in love with two people at the same time, or did not find or have it closed that chapter in your past. How important is it for you, for an individual, to be honest with themselves, to sort out their emotions and feelings, and to be honest with the person that they are potentially in relationship with?
Okay, to answer your first question, I do believe in soul ties. I believe that um, it doesn't always carry the negative weight that a lot of people put it in, the spotlight that it puts it in, because you're married and you want to be tied to that person, spiritually. You know what I mean? And that could be a good thing. But when it severs, it's severing that is when it can become a problem. And that doesn't always have to be negative either, because you were tied to something beautiful at one point. So now it's just a matter of learning how to unravel that tie in a healthy way, so you're not
Mhm.
so it doesn't become toxic.
Mhm.
But that's my thought. That's my belief. Um, Now you said the second fold was being honest. I believe
Mhm.
that it's very important to be honest with yourself and the person who you are in relationship with, or whoever is in the situation. It's freeing. You're freeing
Mhm.
yourself from trying to hide and trying to
Mm.
be something that you're not, and you're also loving yourself and the other
Mm.
person. That's a part of love, is letting that person know, hey, I'm dealing with this right now. I still have feelings for my past person or my other person, or I'm in love with somebody else. Then by you being honest about that, that is giving that person, you are respecting and loving that person enough to allow them to make their own decision on if they want to move
Mm.
forward with you or not. So I
I
believe
like
that
that.
honesty and communication is very healthy, and it's hard. It's
Yeah.
very hard, and it takes maturity in order to actually open your mouth and be truthful and honest to somebody who you might particularly hurt by saying what you're going to say.
Amen.
I like that. I like that. That was dope. Paul, man. I wanna ask you this question. As I see that it's 7:12, and we're gonna go to 7:30. We're gonna get some closing remarks here. Um, Let me ask you this question.
Mhm.
Is there a difference between commitment and feelings?
Mm.
Because if we're
Oh
talking,
yeah.
if we're talking about, uh, here's the deal. If we're in a relationship, I think Liz opened up with this. Although it may be possible to love two people at the same time, it doesn't make it right, you
Mhm.
know. And so I want to ask you the question: is there a difference between commitment and feelings?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Commitment again, that involves some sacrifices.
Mm.
When you are committed to something or committed to someone, that means all your choices, everything you do is based upon that commitment. Even though your feelings may not always line up, but because of your commitment, you do it anyway. Feelings
Mm.
come and go. I
Mhm.
mean, you could feel one way in the morning, feel totally different by lunchtime.
That's right.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
Right.
feelings is if I had to go to work based on how I feel, I wouldn't go most days.
Mhm.
But I go because I'm committed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So,
Yeah. So we should be governing ourselves um, based upon commitment
mhm,
over the feelings. Then,
mhm,
because if I'm saying I'm committed to something, as you said, no matter what I feel, I'm going to make the sacrifice, or I should make the sacrifice.
Mhm.
Don't
Right.
always go that way, right? Sometimes we breach that commitment, and then there's collateral damage. And when
Yeah.
there's collateral damage, now we find ourselves,
Wondering.
hurting ourselves. We find ourselves hurting the individual who we are in relationship with, and we find ourselves hurting the people who love them. And
Yeah.
so, I want to ask Liz Clark, if you can help us out here. If somebody has a barrier before them, right?
Hmm.
Regarding um, trying to navigate these this gum these th- this pot of gumbo full of emotions. Um, how important is it to find a safe place where they could be courageous and share with other people what they're going through without having to worry about being judged or feeling like they're carrying this themselves, so that they can actually experience the healing that we talked about, and or experience having a healthy attachment with someone else in relationship?
No, I
Because I
think
think
that.
it's a barrier. I'm sorry. I think it could be a barrier because, especially if, like, I think Miss McCall said this, if we're holding and carrying this on the inside of us, then we're
Yeah.
not really truly, growing. It's more of a cancer than anything else. So how do we get over that?
Yeah, I think vulnerability is like the biggest thing in life. And being honest and sharing your feelings with somebody. I know, especially us women, we have this like superhero woman hat that we feel like we have to wear and mask,
Mhm.
and we don't want to cry, we don't want to share what we're truly feeling inside. But um, I think if you get to a point of desperation, and you gotta talk it out, whether it's finding a therapist, counseling. I highly
Mm,
recommend that.
mm,
There's nothing wrong with it. I have
nothing.
definitely done that myself. But I also think that this is one thing I did because I was very hurt and broken. And I said, I can't take no more hurt and brokenness from any relationship.
Mhm.
So I said, Lord, pick my friends. Show me
Mm,
who I need to talk to, who I need to be connected to. And he sent me a small group of women who took me under their wing and just showed me life, just showed me how to find myself again. I mean, I went camping, I went to
mm,
restaurants I ain't never been to. They just opened up a different side of the world to me that helped me not focus so much on my pain. Helped me to believe that I could live again. I could move
mm,
past it.
Mhm.
And so I was very grateful for that. And then I had one good friend that had been through the same situation and kind of just helped me and pushed me and guided me. The only thing I would just be careful of is those people who try to keep you in the same place that you are.
That's
Um,
good.
mm,
that are your pity party people who are, dogging, the individual out and, sugarcoating your wrong. You need somebody that's going to tell you the truth.
Talk
Um,
about it.
and I'm very grateful for those people who told me the truth. Like, girl, grow up, get your life
mm,
together. You too good for this. Stop,
Mhm.
pick him up, and let's keep it moving. And I mean, they weren't that mean, but you know what I'm saying. You get it, right? But you just want truthful, honest people, and sometimes God will send the right people if you allow him to.
Mhm.
And that's why I said I was just at a desperate place in my life, and I needed God to do it because my decisions were not helping in anything right now at that point. And I think that's, even going back to the question you asked Paul, feelings are hard to navigate for us women because we definitely ride on feeling.
Mhm.
And so yeah, we may be high today and low tomorrow, but guess what? We made a decision on the high note, and we definitely making a decision on the low note,
Big facts,
but
facts.
I think you have to learn to not be rationally making decisions so fast, right? Like you gotta take the time and say, you know what? probably not today to take that time to make that decision to or to talk to that person. Can I table this? Can I call you back? Whatever the case may be. And I think that's being honest with yourself, covering yourself, helping yourself through this healing journey. And also, you're covering other people. You're not going to hurt nobody else, because hopefully they can respect the time. If they can't, that's on that's their brokenness, and you can't hang on to their baggage, right? So
Mm,
you just try your best, but navigate, and eventually you'll see yourself in a whole healed place. So that's
Mm,
that's all I
mm.
have to say.
that's good.
Hopefully I didn't get too
Yeah.
long winded.
No, no, I think that's
No, no, it's
powerful.
good.
Yeah, Paul, I was thinking about you as Liz was sharing. I know I don't want to make a blanket statement, but I feel like society has done men a disservice.
Mm,
So
mm.
typically, if you have a broken man
Ooh,
or a man that is broken emotionally, because one of my favorite reads is He Motions by Bishop T.D. Jakes.
Oh,
Bishop T.D.
Mm,
Jakes wrote a book titled He Motions.
mhm.
And
yeah,
a lot of the time, there's a misconception that just because we are men, this Western culture has painted a picture that men don't cry,
Hmm.
has painted a picture that we don't have feelings, we don't have emotions, and has painted this picture that we don't need support groups to where
mhm,
we can be vulnerable and transparent and say, you know what, without being judged. Hey
yeah,
man, I feel weak
mhm,
today. I feel like throwing in the towel today. I don't feel like
mhm,
going on today. And so what happens is that
mhm,
a lot of the time, most men, because we don't have safe spaces to where we could be courageous and disclose
mhm.
really how we're feeling and what we're going through, we isolate and we suffer in silence.
Yep.
And so, Paul, I just want you to take a brief moment as it's 7:21. Can you share on this platform for the mothers who may have sons, for wives that have husbands, for aunties out there that have nephews, and for the young men and then the older men, middle-aged men? Would you share with us what true manhood is regarding, um, the road to recovering from pain and on the road to healing, being made whole?
Yeah, that is, man, that is such a big, huge topic, and I'm glad you brought that up because as you were talking about brokenness in men and different things like that, and the advice that I could give to people, those that are raising men. I This is my theory, at least. I believe one of the main reasons that you have some men that, if I could say it this way, sleep around or move around a lot.
Hmm.
A lot of times that stems from some kind of brokenness,
Mm,
because when that man is in the world and he is pushed down, he is disrespected at work, he's even a person of a certain nationality, and he's always put down, doesn't feel like he's um a man that owns his space. The one place that he can feel that way is with a woman that he can dominate over. And
mm,
so sometimes they tend to keep doing that
wow,
because they can feel empowered.
Mm,
And that's not talked about a lot, but I believe that is one of the key reasons. And so I think for our young men and even old men, it doesn't matter. Um, Creating a space where young men can be mentored by the wise
mm,
to begin to have purpose, begin to know who they are. I truly believe most men want to be
mm,
strong, hardworking. They want to be relied upon.
yeah,
They want to be known that I'm a good, strong man and I take care of my
mhm.
family, my wife. They want that. It just
mm,
sometimes society makes it seem like that we don't, but I don't believe that. I believe they do. They just need someone to help mentor them and pull them through um, you know, this life and how to navigate these different areas of emotions or letdowns or places in their life where they may not feel like a man sometimes. And I think that that leadership and that mentorship will completely change our even our at a country level. It'll change our whole country if we could get that done.
I appreciate you sharing that, Miss McCall. Thank you so much. That's powerful. So I'm gonna get you, Liz. Go ahead, sister.
No, I just had a question for both of you too at that,
Yeah.
because I think that was very powerful, Paul,
Mhm.
to hear that insight about men. And I think sometimes us as women, we forget that you all have emotions and
Yeah.
feelings. So even as they are journeying through this mentorship or rebuilding themselves, how do we as women, whether we are friends, aunties, sisters, whatever, how can we be of support to that process and not tearing them down, uh, in a sense?
I would say men are we are not likely to um, share or expose deep inner emotions or things when we don't feel we can trust you.
Mm.
So, and the reason is if he feels that you're going to look at him like he's less of a man, or share these deep ways a man feels, you're going to share them with others. This even comes to the mothers.
Mm,
A man sharing things with his mom, and then his mom's like, "Yeah, boy, you need to, you ain't," and telling all his aunties, "No, nah, he's gonna shut down. It's
Yeah.
over because now he doesn't feel safe."
good.
Mhm.
Um, so that's one way that you can help, and then, um, and I'm gonna give my wife some encouragement here.
Mhm.
She, I'm gonna tell you something. She said this to me. This is before we got married. She said, "I see the king in you."
Wow.
Right? She
That's
said, "I see the
powerful.
king in you."
Powerful to say.
And of course, I played it off like, "Thank you." But but inside you like, yeah, yeah. You
Yes.
men men need that reassurance and
Mm.
that you are, man, oh my gosh, man, you are so good, you're great, man, that pushes us into
Mhm.
purpose, and we'll run through walls, man, when we know you're a woman, you're counting on us and you believe in us, and don't just nitpick and man, you ain't got no job yet, like that.
Mhm.
No, 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 no. You do that support and we can confide in you. Yeah,
Mhm.
that'll help us a lot.
I think too, man. Just to add to that, so you said all the good stuff, Paul, and I won't elaborate on that. One thing that will cause for a man to go back into his shell is when he does decide to become vulnerable and transparent. If there's an argument and that's thrown up into his face,
Mhm.
it's weaponized. So
Yes.
you
Mhm.
took the very
Right.
thing. It
Yes.
probably took
Yep.
it probably took him
Yeah.
2 years to be open and transparent.
Wow.
2 years to come out the shell and say, "Man, is this a safe space? Can I go ahead and share something that's personal and private that I've been carrying, and you're supposed to be this safe
Mhm.
space?" And then all of a sudden, you guys, there's a moment, and in that moment, that's weaponized. He will never open up again.
Yep.
That's
And
right.
and I'm
Wow.
gonna tell you here it is. It goes that let that continue perpetuating itself,
Mm.
and let
Mhm.
that work wife come on the scene
Mm.
and give to him what you ain't giving. You in trouble, and vice versa, vice
Yeah.
versa.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I want to say that Miss McCall.
Mhm.
Um, I want to ask you a quick question. We'll do a round with some closing remarks. So we go to Miss McCall, and then we'll go to Paul, and then Liz. If you close us up, is that okay?
Sounds good.
So I want to ask you, Miss McCall, this question. Um, how do we change the generational cycle of unhealthy attachments so that unhealthy relationships are not conceived and birthed?
I'm gonna say the same way I started out when we started with
Mhm.
yourself. You really have to really search in yourself and know who you are at your core. Um, and where you are in life, where your thought process is, your spiritual, your spiritual life, and you know, I really think it starts within yourself because if
Mhm.
you are whole in your, within, then you're not going to be everywhere, and it like your brain is not going to be mushy. You're mushing everything, and you're not pulling everybody else into your drama or your past life or your baggage and all that kind of stuff. So that's I'm gonna stick with that. That it has to do with your core.
I love that. I love that. I'm gonna get Onika here real quick. Onika's in the chat. She's saying, men need affirmation. Y'all brothers need it. Y'all brothers need it too. It starts with self, as you talked about, Miss McCall, and then she said, one has to do the work. Ooh, everybody wants the perfect relationship, right? But don't nobody really
I
want to
want
put
to
in the
work.
work.
Come on, work.
Oh man, how do we help raise up this generation that's coming behind us so that they don't perpetuate some of the challenges that we've have found ourselves in? How do we try to kind of protect them and shield them in the right direction?
Yeah, I think that the way our, especially in the Western nations, the way our country, um, the images and what we see on social media, TV, and just media, period, on how to love and how what relationships should look like are totally wrong.
Right.
They
Right.
just it's not supportive or conducive to a healthy relationship. So
Right.
I believe, like I said before, we need to begin to foster training and mentorship and grabbing these young people, young women and men,
Yeah.
and helping them along,
Yeah.
showing them the way and showing them the path so that they're not taught by the world.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, that that's crucial. That's crucial. If we can get that done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you,
Yeah.
man, for that. Liz, man, what's going on with you? Help us out. How are we going to change that generation coming up behind us so that they don't perpetuate the generational cycle that we found ourselves in?
I mean, I agree with what Paul said, but I think it has to do with us. We got to start our healing journey.
Mhm.
We have to have some uncomfortable conversations, whether it's with our
Mm,
parents, whether it's with other, people that we've had relationships with, and we got to get to a healthy state of love. And
That's
and
good.
and sometimes it's uncomfortable when you've never experienced it. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know it's real.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And finding those communities, whether it is in your church community, whether it's social groups that you connect with, but God, let God be your guide in that. But that would be the only thing I would add is making sure that you start your healing because it starts with you. You are the one that passes the seed. You're the one that can demonstrate and change um, the trajectory of your family's bloodline. So um, let it start with you. It's work. Just like we talked about
Mhm.
all these relationships, working within yourself is work too. So
Facts.
but it's possible. But it's possible. So
I
Mhm.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And Nika's down there saying self because you can't give what you don't have. I like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
She says
yeah.
she puts emphasis on get a therapist.
Hmm.
In my
Facts.
little few fleeting moments here, I do want to say every time there was a problem in our marriage, Christ was no longer at the head in the household, and so every time that the enemy kicked up his heels and adversity came in to where it seemed like we were overcome by the attack of the enemy is because Christ was no longer at the center of our marriage. And so I also too want to encourage us that two is better than one, and three strands are not easily broken. And so when you take out Christ, that means you have flesh. You have the two human beings, which means you have two people wrapped up and covered in flesh, which means that it can't go right. But when we put Christ in the center, which is representation of true love, God is love and love is God, then all things are possible through Christ Jesus who strengthens us. I want to thank Liz Clark with Tea Time for Tea Time with Liz and friends for joining us, and Jamisha McCall, thank you for your wisdom and your insight, and Paul, my God, the I wasn't even gonna say, but I was getting ready to go there. But nevertheless, man, I want to thank you guys. We love you all.
No,
Onika, man,
thank you
thank you
so
for your
much.
insight.
We had fun. We got to do it
Yes,
again
yes, thank
on
you.
tea time.
We need a part two of this because we could have went a lot deeper. So
Yep. So I tell you what, this was just to scratch the surface. Go back and go ahead and watch the replay. Extract some major themes, and then maybe as you're extracting those major themes, we will hear some things that was not said beneath the surface, and then that could go ahead and help launch that improv too. Until next time, it's your boy Earl Miller with Breaking Chains Ministries. Join us for the 5:30 Wednesday a.m. prayer. We're going to be touching the throne of grace, believing God for the miraculous, and let us remember those who are going through a tough and challenging time with this government shutdown, and spent several days without being able to have those benefits. And it's just really a time for the church to come together even the more, so that we can support one another and continue to build our communities. We say, God bless you. We love you in Jesus' name. Praise the Lord.
So, see y'all.
Peace.